How's it going, Guardian? Shifty here, and yesterday I posted my first solo flawless run of the new Duality dungeon on a Warlock. In that video I promised that I would put out videos where I break down each encounter. So in today's video I'm going to be covering that Gahlran encounter from my first solo flawless run. I'm going to be starting by going over my loadout, my Solar 3.0 setup and everything like that. Then I'm going to jump into the encounter with commentary. So if you do end up enjoying today's video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to my channel and not yet subscribed, make sure to do that as well. Alright, so let's get started with my loadout for this encounter. Of course, I'm on a Warlock using Dawnblade. For my super, I'm going with Well of Radiance. For my abilities, I have the Empowering Rift, Burst Glide, Incinerator Snap, and the Fusion Grenade. Then for my aspects, I have Touch of Flame, primarily for that double explosion on the Fusion Grenade. Then I am using Icarus Dash for a little bit of movement throughout this encounter. And finally, for my fragments, I have Ember of Singeing, so my class abilities recharge faster when I scorch enemies. I also have Ember of Torches, powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. I have Ember of Ashes, so I apply more scorch stacks to targets. Then I have Ember of Solace, radiant and restoration effects applied to you have an increased duration. Then for my weapon selection for this encounter, I have Witherhoard in my kinetic slot. I used this on both my solo flawless run and my very first solo run as well. Then in my energy slot, I have the Forbearance grenade launcher from the Vow of the Disciple raid, and I have chain reaction on this. It's an excellent add clear weapon. It's also used to ring the bells, and it gives a little bit of healing with that Soul Drinker trait. Now if you don't have this, you could use something like another Waveframe grenade launcher, or you could swap it out for a submachine gun like Funnel Web. That's what I used on my first solo completion. However, I swapped to this for my solo flawless run. Then in my heavy slot, I have the Falling Guillotine sword, and this is great for the boss, but it's also great for taking out the nightmares of Gahlran. That is it for my weapon selection. Now let's go over my armor mods, because I am using an elemental well build. So in my helmet here, I do have Unquenchable Thirst, which is going to help Soul Drinker on my Forbearance. If you don't have that grenade launcher, you can swap that mod out for whatever. I have Sword Ammo Finder for Falling Guillotine, and I have Bountiful Wells, so anytime I generate wells, I generate more of them. Then in my arms, I have Grenade Launcher Loader, that's for Forbearance and maybe Witherhoard if I choose to manually reload it. Then I have Elemental Ordnance, so my grenades generate elemental wells. In my chest armor, I have two of the mods that offer solar and void resistance. Then in my combat mod slot, I do have Seeking Wells, so any elemental wells that I generate do seek towards my location. In my legs, I have Sword Scavenger for Falling Guillotine. Then I have Well of Life, so my solar elemental wells offer just a little bit of healing. It's not incredible, but it does help out a lot more than you may think. And finally, in my class item, I have Class C Restoration, so anytime I pop my Empowering Rift, I get stacks of restoration, which is a great healing technique if ever you need a large boost to your health. Then I have Explosive Wallmaker, which allows both Witherhoard and Forbearance to generate elemental wells whenever I kill an enemy with them. So that is it for my loadout here. Now let's jump right into the encounter with commentary. Alright, so for this encounter, I want to head to the Nightmare Realm first. Then there's going to be 4 rooms, one in each corner of the arena. 2 of those rooms are going to contain a Scion. As you can see, there's a Scion here. When I kill that Scion, I will generate a standard. I'm going to grab this first standard. Now I'm going to go look for the second room that contains a Scion. You can kind of use your radar. You don't actually have to go into each individual room. So I took the Bellkeepers out with my Fusion Grenade. I killed this second Scion, which does generate another standard, but I'm going to be leaving that standard. I'm not going to pick that one up. I didn't quite finish off the second Bellkeeper. I'll do that now. And you can see Well of Life is helping keep my health up, even with all of these enemies shooting at me. So now I want to head back to the regular realm. And you can see I have a Sun standard, which is going to be right up here. I do want to wait for the Bellkeepers to spawn so I can open up this bell. So we're going to toss Fusion Grenade at that one and a Witherhoard at that one. Once they're both down, I'm going to go ahead and place the standard on the Sun. I'm going to wait for the room to open, but I'm also going to toss Witherhoard over there to maybe catch some enemies that hop up. Alright, I'm going to head on in and kill this Colossus, take care of the War Beasts as well. Then I'm going to ring the bell while standing inside the room. I'm going to pull my sword out and get ready to kill the Nightmares of Gahlran. I should say Visions of Gahlran, sorry. The sword makes quick work of those visions. I'm going to go ahead and take out these Bellkeepers, except I kind of missed both of my Witherhoard and Fusion Grenade. I'm going to head over here and grab that standard that I left from earlier. I don't quite have a Well of Life, so I decided to place a Rift for restoration. You always want to use a Rift if you need a little bit of healing. And now that I have the second standard, I'm going to head on over to the side of the room with the axe. I'm going to, of course, want to take the Bellkeepers out over here so I can ring this bell when the time comes. And now I'm going to go ahead and place the standard. You can see the healing from Forbearance is actually quite useful there. If you do have it, I recommend it. I'm going to take out the Colossus again, take out the War Beasts. Alright. Let's clear out some of these Legionaries here. And I'm going to teleport myself to the Nightmare Realm, get ready to take out any of the Visions of Gahlran. You see there was a Scion left here. It was key that I didn't kill that Scion that was by that second standard that I grabbed because it remains in here. And when you kill those standard bearers, you get a little bit of extra time. That's why I left that standard. That's why I left the Scion, so I could get a little bit of extra time during this damage phase. I want to take out those Bellkeepers and go for damage on Gahlran. So I'm going to try to get a Witherhoard, place my Well of Radiance. I'm going to pretty much spam my Fusion Grenade and every once in a while go in with my sword. Now you can do this in a rhythmic fashion. You can kind of choose which weapons and which grenade to use when. I just kind of spammed as many grenades as I could. Tossed a Witherhoard occasionally and used my sword occasionally as well. And so this is exactly what we're going to do for the remainder of this encounter. We're basically going to do exactly what I just did to get to the damage phase and then use this damage technique. You can see my Well of Radiance went away because I have a little bit of extra time on this damage phase. I decided to place an Empowering Rift. Now Empowering Rifts, it's key to remember, will not give you very much healing. Even with restoration, you can still easily die to your own Fusion Grenade. So I just decided to get out of there. If I was a little bit better, I probably could have done half of its health and made this a 2-phase, but I decided to go about it in a safe way so that I could get the solo flawless run. So here we are, we're going to reset. I'm just killing these Bellkeepers so that I can head to the Nightmare Realm and restart the process. So again, I'm going to want to look for 2 of the 4 rooms that contain a Scion. Again, I'm kind of just using my radar. Every once in a while I toss a grenade near these Legionaries so I can get some Solar Wells to get Well of Life. Kill the Bellkeepers as I'm heading on over here. Alright, the first Scion is dead. Grab the first standard. Now I want to go kill the second Scion, but leave the standard. Alright, the second Scion is right there. Second Scion is dead, and I'm going to leave the standard. Now we want to head back to the regular realm. And I currently have the War Beast standard, so I'm going to want to head to this side of the room where the War Beast store is. Take out the 2 Bellkeepers. And right there, I messed up. I killed the 2 Bellkeepers with the heavy attack on the sword, which unfortunately also rung the bell because it lasted long enough to do so. So I have to kill these 2 Bellkeepers and head back to the regular realm. This did extend my run just a little bit, unfortunately, but I should not have used that heavy attack on those 2 Bellkeepers. It's going to work out regardless. So we're just going to head back to the regular realm and wait for the Bellkeepers before I place this War Beast standard. So it really is okay if you mess up during an encounter. You really just kind of have to reorient yourself a little bit if you do. We want to head into this room, kill the Colossus. Now, I don't think you have to kill the Colossus or anything, but in this case I chose to. And so I'm going to stand in this room, ring the bell, get ready for the visions of Gahlran. Since that was the first standard placed, once these visions of Gahlran are down, I want to take out the Bellkeepers, then go grab that second standard that I left on the ground. Now this time pay attention and you'll notice that there's going to be a Scion in that room with that second standard. It is key that you don't kill that Scion that you see. So you can see there's a Scion, there's all these War Beasts, and here's that second standard that we left. It's key that you leave that Scion there, because you're going to want it to extend the time when it comes to the damage phase. So here I have my axe standard. I am going to go ahead and place it even though the Bellkeepers aren't up. You can go ahead and do this. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But I am going to get ready for the Bellkeepers as they spawn. Take the Bellkeepers out. And now I'm going to head into the room over here. And for whatever reason the Colossus didn't spawn. It might be because the Bellkeepers weren't up yet. I'm not sure exactly how that works. But let's take out the visions and this Scion to extend our time. Gives you an extra 15 seconds on a damage phase. Alright, all the visions are down. I don't lure the Gahlran visions to the doorway to get the unstable essence buff. It's very possible to do so and get that for the boss damage phase. I don't think it's necessary, especially if you want to go for just a clean, safe run. If you're going for a speed run, you're definitely going to want to do that, but if you're just looking to get the completion, I don't think you need to focus too heavily on maximizing the unstable essence buff. So again, the damage phase is going to be similar. I placed my Well of Radiance, getting Witherhoard on the boss with Starfire Protocol is going to help regenerate your fusion grenades very quickly, allowing you to spam them. I also use my sword to help me get back in my Well of Radiance a little bit. You can see my Well of Radiance is gone again. Let me toss my last two fusion grenades and then head on over to the bell and ring it to head back to the normal realm. And now we have just a little bit of health left on Gahlran, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal to finish this fight off. So I moved to the other side because the Bellkeepers already were up on this side and it's easy to kill them without having to wait for them to spawn again. So I can ring the bell and head back to the Nightmare Realm. Alright, we're going to head back in so that we can grab our last two standards. Again, checking all four rooms for the Scions. You can basically use your radar. If you see red as you approach it, that room is going to contain a Scion. If you don't see red, you can just quickly move on. Don't forget to take care of the Bellkeepers. Take the Scion out. Grab the standard. That was the first Scion, so we're going to look for the second Scion. Alright, that second Scion is down, but I left the standard. Now we're going to head back to the normal realm. And it looks like I have the War Beast standard, which is on the opposite side of the room. We're going to want to take the Bellkeepers out as we get over there. This time I'm not going to do that same heavy attack situation on both of them. I did a light attack on the second remaining one, so that I didn't have to worry about sending myself to the Nightmare Realm accidentally again. And that was a very close call, and I messed up again. I accidentally sent myself to the Nightmare Realm with my Wave Frame Grenade Launcher. So again, if mistakes happen, you just have to kind of reorient yourself and take care of the situation. It's going to add a little bit of time to my run, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal overall. Especially since I can pretty quickly get back to the regular realm. Maybe about 30 seconds worth of time here. Again, not ideal in a speed run, but in this case, it's not that bad either, especially considering going to the Nightmare Realm accidentally, got rid of the Colossus for whatever, and the War Beasts that were inside of that room. Let's take out the Bellkeepers and head to the Nightmare Realm and take care of the visions. So generally the first vision takes about 3 sword swings to take out, but once you have the unstable essence or any buffs on your sword, they take about 2 instead. Alright, Bellkeepers. Those Bellkeepers are down. Let's grab an Elemental Well for healing. And let's go grab our second standard. And you can see jumping helps avoid a lot of the enemies, including the War Beast, Gahlran, anything like that. Staying in the air is usually pretty helpful here. Alright, we're heading with our second standard up to the side with the Chalice Door. I'm going to go ahead and dunk that since we killed the Bellkeepers. Alright, let's head in, take out the Colossus, take out the War Beasts, and let's ring the bell. Get ready for the visions. I usually head for the visions that are in the back of the room first, opposite of the tunnel that I have to take down to the other room. And so there should be 1 vision left and then that Scion. Let's extend our duration. We probably don't need it this time, but it's better to be safe. Alright, let's head to Gahlran. Place my well, get a Wither Horde, and start spamming the fusions. So while this is my first solo flawless run, I do plan to get some attempts in on a Titan and a Hunter as well. And I know the Warlock builds aren't nearly as potent as the Titan builds, but it still is a pretty easy clear if you give it enough effort. Either way, I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I hope this video helped you out if you're going for a solo flawless attempt on your own, or if you're heading in with a team to get your first completion. Either way, let me know down in the comments if it helped you out. I just want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.